Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Joe and welcome to a quick little list video that I've actually been intending on making for absolutely ages. It's just, I never really got around to making it. Every time I sort of sat down and went to make this video, I always just sort of got sidetracked and ended up creating something else. So this is going to be 10 items which I believe should be made strange in Team Fortress 2. So as I'm sure most of you guys probably know, there's a ton of items out there that you probably use on a regular basis, and I mean, I'd personally use a lot of these items a lot more if they were available in Strange. A lot of people don't actually care about items being strange, but I just think it's a pretty cool concept to sort of track all your kills and like all your achievements onto one weapon. I just think that's like quite a cool concept to have, so if a lot of these weapons sort of enabled that concept, I think I'd use them a lot more. So without further ado, let's just get straight into number 10. So in the 10th spot on this list we have the Black Rose. The Black Rose is a knife reskin that you can get from playing the game Poker Night at the Inventory. You shouldn't really mistake this with Poker Night at the Inventory 2, which is essentially focusing a lot more on cosmetic based items. Poker Night at the Inventory allows you to unlock 5 weapon reskins after completing tasks within the game, and the Black Rose is actually a really cool reskin. It has the same aspects of the stock knife, however it has a pink handle with a small sort of rose circular design on it, and the whole blade has like engraved patterns on it. It's a really cool like item, and honestly the fact it isn't strange is kind of disheartening because I really like this item and I would go out of my way to unlock this item if it was available to get in Strange. Next up on the list we have the AppSap. The AppSap is a direct reskin of the Sapper, and it also has voice lines added in from the actor Stephen Merchant. I'm personally a fan of Stephen Merchant. If you guys don't know who he is, he's a sort of British comedian. He's actually a really funny guy. But yeah, he actually voiced the lines on the AppSap, and it's such a cool sort of skin. It looks really cool. It has that sort of portal theme to it with the big blue eye beaming in the middle, and it's kind of sad that you can't get it in Strange, because if there was a Strange AppSap I would pay like really high amounts to actually get that. I use a Strange Festive one at the moment, so a Strange AppSap would be really cool and I'll just stay entertained forever with those voice lines. So next on the list, this isn't even like a item you can obtain in any quality. This is a stock item, being the Disguise Kit. This is quite a weird concept. I know a lot of you probably won't agree with me on this, but I actually think a Strange Disguise Kit would be really cool. It would be quite interesting to see how many times you've disguised as the spy. Obviously there's the Strange Invisi Watch, which tells you how long in total you've spent cloaked, so sort of how many times you've disguised or how many times you've disguised as each individual class would be a really cool concept. So next up on the list we have the Sharp Dresser. I did actually feature this in my top 5 promotional items, and it's because it's such a cool reskin of the stock knife. If you guys don't know what it is, it's that sort of hidden blade under the spy's sleeve, and it's sort of imitating that Assassin's Creed hidden blade style, and it's such a cool item to use and it's actually really fun. The only issue is of course it was a promotional item, so it can't be obtained in Strange. If this was available in Strange, I'd pay a lot of money for it. Like, I would pay lots of keys to get a Strange Sharp Dresser. Along with most of these items, actually, I believe I'd pay quite a high amount in keys if these were available in Strange. But nevertheless, this is a really cool reskin, and it's such a shame that it isn't available in Strange. Just to clarify, this list isn't in order, so it's not like this is what I believe, like the order of what these items should be prioritized as. I just believe all these items should be, and decided to present them in a list fashion. So at the midway spot on this list we have the Lugamorph. I actually have a vintage Pro Killstreak Lugamorph, and it's such a cool reskin of the stock pistol. It really just does look so much better. Again, similar to the Black Rose, this was added in the Poker Night game. However, as opposed to it being for the spy only, this is a reskin of the pistol, which is usable by the scout and the engineer. It's already quite a high tier pistol in its vintage form, so a Strange one definitely would be extremely high tier, but again I think it kind of deserves one. It's such a popular skin used by a lot of people out there. So coming up next we have yet another high tier promo item, being the Big Kill. The Big Kill is a reskin of the stock revolver for the spy and is a lot bigger. It looks a lot sort of more deadly at an initial look, and it's coloured blue instead of black. It honestly just does look a lot more fancy than the stock revolver, and again it's fairly high tier, coming in at about 7 keys in its normal form. Vintage ones are like way more expensive, but they're a lot more rare and generally harder to get your hands on, so still 7 keys for a stock one and it would make the strange one be really expensive. However, the big kill's a really cool reskin. I do prefer using it generally. I mean, I don't really use the stock revolver anyway. I generally use like the Lestrange or something, but regardless, it's still a really cool reskin and definitely outshines the stock revolver in basically every single aspect. So next up we actually have a nice all-class item. This is the first all-class item being in this episode, and this is going to be the Hamshank. The Hamshank is a direct reskin of basically any all-class melee weapon. It has no real perks or negatives. However, it's a really cool item. It's basically shaped around a ham shank. There's not a huge amount else you can describe it as, just a massive block of meat. And it's just really entertaining to swing it around, and every time you make contact with something it makes this really weird squelch noise, and it's really humorous, and generally it's a really cool, fun weapon. Again, it's quite a shame you can't really get this in Strange. I think it would be a really fun Strange weapon to have, and would encourage a lot more people to use it because it's a really fun and generally overlooked weapon in the Team Fortress 2 community. So next up on the list we have the Fortified Compound. The Fortified Compound is a direct reskin of the Huntsman, being the bow and arrow for the sniper. It just looks a lot better, and I believe it came out along with a bunch of other sniper cosmetics that give you a really sort of stealthy look. It's just, in my opinion, a lot nicer than the initial Huntsman. It looks a lot more futuristic and generally looks a lot nicer, a lot more futuristic, a lot more deadly. It's just generally a better, more modern skin than the Huntsman. That's why I believe it should be Strange, because it's such a nice reskin for a one-of-a-kind weapon. The only other Strange bow and arrow is of course the Huntsman, which, I mean, it's kind of boring. It's just a wooden bow and arrow, so the Fortified Compound in Strange would definitely be a great addition to the game, which I'm sure a lot of you guys that play Sniper and play Huntsman Sniper would love to see added. So second to last on this list we have the Nostromo Napalmer. This is the reskin of the flamethrower that came out along with the Alien Isolation items, and it's actually a really cool thing. It's got that sort of space theme going for it, which all the items in this collection have, and it just looks a lot, again, futuristic like most of the items in this list. It looks a lot nicer. It's just a reskin of the stock flamethrower, so it has no perks or negative impacts or anything. It's just stock, and it just looks really cool. It's a shame it can't be in Strange because, again, it's really unique. It's not really similar to any other weapons out in the game at the moment due to the fact most of them follow a really sort of similar theme, so this sort of metallic futuristic weapon would be a great addition to the game if it was in Strange. So lastly, this is a weapon I'm sure most of you guys will agree with. Basically everyone loves this weapon. I can't really think of anyone that doesn't. However, this is actually going to be the Prinny Machete. This is actually a really cool reskin of, again, an all-class weapon, and it's just so cool. It's this sort of machete style sword skin that's available to even be used by the spy. It's actually so big that it can't even have like its own backstab animation. It's just a really cool reskin of this sort of all-class weapon, and just does feel right when being used by basically every single class in the game. I'm sure most of you guys know this, but this was added to the game fairly recently along with a few other items relevant to this game, and I don't know, I just think it's a really cool skin. It's the perfect blend of looking good but also not looking too serious, which is why I believe it should be available to get in Strange and tradable. Like, it would be so cool to just see Strange Prinny Machetes on the market and stuff like that. So yeah guys, that is just about it for this list. Again, I'd just like to say this wasn't in order, so I don't prioritise anything on this list more than anything else. Apart from the Prinny Machete, I think that is what the Valve should really try and release maybe a Stranger Fire for or something. Just really liven up that sort of Strange all-class margin, because now it's extremely limited with just the Golden Pan and the normal Strange Pan. But yeah, that's just about it guys. Let me know what you thought of this down below, if you agree or disagree with anything I said, or maybe if you think there's other weapons that should become Strange. It's going to be really interesting to hear what you guys have to say. Also, I'm kind of interested in bringing other games to this channel. Recently, a good friend of mine actually purchased for me Grand Theft Auto 5, so shout out to Dark Scorching if you're watching this video. But if you guys would like to see maybe GTA 5 videos, then do let me know. I think it would be really fun to do that. Leave any suggestions for what games you guys would actually like me to bring to this channel, actually, because a another good friend of mine, Shiny Cat, has actually purchased a few games for me, including Rocket League. So I think Rocket League videos could be quite fun, or maybe like a playthrough of a single player game like Portal. I don't know, just honestly, I've got like a bunch of games, so if you guys would like to see anything specifically brought to this channel of like a playthrough or like a multiplayer game or anything, just do let me know down in the comments below, and I will be taking ideas, because it would be really cool to branch out this channel into more games and not be limited to Team Fortress 2. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, leave a like if you did, and that's just about it. Thanks again for watching, guys, and peace.